So I didn't have anyone to speak to, and I was totally alone and I didn't know what to do. The only thing that I felt was my heart beating. My body got cold, then it got warm, and then it got cold again, and I couldn't feel my pulse. Like, I was so freaking scared. Hey guys, it's Linn. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thank you for stopping by. So today's video is going to be a little more serious than my regular beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos. I don't know if you saw my vlog about behind the lens, what's going on in my life when I'm not on YouTube or not on social media. And I updated you a little bit there on how my mental illness has been for the past year. And I know that I have a real talk with me video about anxiety, depression, and also eating disorder up. And therefore I have decided to go a little bit more in depth and make a real talk video all about anxiety and panic attacks. I don't know if you have it or if you just like watching these videos, or if you know someone who has it. I will go in depth on what anxiety really is, how it works, how to live with it, and also a few tips and tricks that I've learned for the past year to kind of deal with it and make it go away a lot faster. And I will tell you my story when it comes to the anxiety and panic attacks as well. I know that I quick mentioned also in my vlog that I have decided to go on medication, and that is just because of how bad my anxiety has gotten. Like, everything has just built it up in a huge pile, and now it has kind of exploded. Like, it's everywhere and I don't know what to do. But I have also gotten depression again, as I mentioned in my earlier Real Talk With Me video, that my depression was gone. I have gone 7 years without it, thank God. And now I have gotten it back again because I have something that is called periodic depression, which comes in small periods of times and it will disappear and then come back. But this time it happened because of my anxiety, because it was so bad that I didn't know what to do anymore, and I got depressed because I couldn't leave the house. And it evolved into generalized anxiety and huge panic attacks instead of small ones, which I had in the beginning. So in the beginning, I got that one panic attack, which I told you about, my first one. And then it was a couple of months until I got my next one around Christmas, when I had my exam and school was building up and it was crazy. So I think what triggers it was that I was so stressed out because of school. I needed to get A's to get into med school. And I also ate very little because I didn't have time to eat. Like, of course, everyone has time to eat, but at that time, I didn't feel like I had any time to eat because I needed to study and study and study, and I didn't sleep that much as well. That was the second time, and then I didn't get panic attacks until the summer again. So it was very small in the beginning. It came, it went away, then it came back and it went away. But what happened that summer, last summer, was that it came and it stayed, and it pretty much hasn't gone away since then. I have tried different techniques and tips that really work that I want to share with you in the end of this video. I have gotten so afraid of my anxiety that I am telling myself every place that I go that, oh my God, if I go there, I will have a panic attack. And if you tell yourself that, you will most definitely get it, because you are preparing your body to have a panic attack. And the thing that happens in your body is very complex, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you about the exact reaction. I can only tell you how I feel and what happens to me. And I will also tell you a little bit of something that is called the fight or flight response. That is something that we are all born with. And back in the days, if you saw a tiger, you would get very afraid. And you could either fight the tiger or you could flight. And the smart people, the people who survived, they flight. And they who tried to fight the tiger most likely died. And that is why we have this system built in us, because it is something that is in our brains from we were born. So it's nothing we can do about it. The only difference between a panic attack and a real situation is that you get fake symptoms that releases the fight or flight response in your brain. But if you see a spider, if you are afraid of spiders and you see a spider, you will most likely get scared, but it's a natural cause. So you won't get afraid in the same way that if you are not having that natural cause. Like I had when my first panic attack happened, I was like, what is this? What is happening? Am I going to die now? I'm too young to die. I didn't have a natural cause to be afraid of, so I didn't know why my body was acting up like that. And what the fight or flight response is that it triggers your brain and also your body. The brain gives a signal to release adrenaline to the body, which will make your heart beat faster. It will make you sweat. It will make you get all of these weird symptoms that will seem natural to you if you have a reason to be afraid. But when you have anxiety, you don't always have a reason, like you don't have something that you can see in front of you. And that is what makes the anxiety go over to panic attack, because you don't know what you're afraid of. You don't know why you are getting these symptoms. And if you don't know this, you will get afraid like I did for the first time. I wish I could see a video like this and know that it was totally normal. It was just anxiety. And I wouldn't bother about it again, because most people can have one anxiety attack and it goes away forever. So the difference between that person and me is that I got so scared and I got so afraid. Like if I drive my car, I would immediately have a panic attack, because I have had a panic attack in my car before. So I know that if I go in the car, I would most likely have a panic attack, and boom, you would get a panic attack. So a different person who are driving a car and feel like their heart is beating fast would probably think, oh, my heart is beating fast, but that's probably because I'm driving my car, it's a lot of traffic, blah, 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 and come up with natural causes. But for one person with anxiety, we will think of all different reasons to why we have it. We will focus all our energy on that symptom, and it will only get worse. It will build itself up. You will think a thought, you will activate the fight or flight response, your body will send out adrenaline, you will think again, and it goes in this bad, vicious circle, which is so hard to get out of if you don't know the real techniques to use. So all people on earth have this place in our brain, which is called amygdala. And that part helps us to immediately react on things we see or things we hear. For a person with anxiety, will not always have a thing in front of them. Like you can't see the reason to why you're scared, and you don't know why these things keeps happening in your body, because there's nothing bad that had happened that day. Like I can be in bed and have a panic attack without any reason, because of my body is acting up. And when it comes to the fight or flight response, there's two things, as I quick mentioned in the intro, that can release your fight or flight response. And that is one, normal anxiety triggers, which are the normal things that we are afraid of. Like I am afraid of spiders, I'm afraid of bugs, and I'm afraid of heights and stuff like that. That would be my normal anxiety triggers. It would be totally normal for me to have a little anxiety on the top of a building. So I wouldn't have a panic attack most likely, because I know that I am afraid of heights and that will make me feel uncomfortable. But the thing that can give you very, very bad anxiety and very huge panic attacks are the fake anxiety triggers. And that is the things that we can't see. Like I mentioned earlier, that is the things we can't see. That is the things we don't know why it happens. It just happens. The fake anxiety triggers shouldn't give you anxiety, because a normal person without anxiety will not have these feelings in their body, because they will think of natural causes to why they are feeling the way that they do. But for me, I can't come up with natural causes because I always think that I am ill. Like, I go to the doctor, I check everything, he tells me that everything is okay, I go home, I still worry about it, because worrying could be the death. Like, worrying can really, really, really increase your anxiety, and it can also really start this huge thinking process in your head that can really, really mess up every single thing in your life. So you should never worry. Try to not worry. I know it's so hard. I still worry, even if I'm told not to worry, but it's very hard to change that kind of thinking. But it is possible. It's possible for me. It's possible for you guys. Everyone can do it. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. So my fake anxiety triggers is pretty much everything. Like, I get dizzy, my heart is beating fast, I get cold, I'm sweating, I feel nauseous, I need to throw up, I lose my appetite, I feel like I'm not in touch with the ground, I feel like I'm floating through life, I lose my sight, I have done that sometimes, and when I'm walking outside, it feels like you're kind of drunk. And everyone seems like they're not there. Even if they are, they seem distant and very blurred out. I will think of that I'm sick, and all that stuff is some of my fake anxiety triggers. And if I'm going to the mall, if I'm going to school, if I'm doing something where I know there is a lot of people, I will most likely get a panic attack again. So the fake trigger, they are launching the fire alarm in your head that says, oh my God, something is wrong, we need to do something. And you try to control it, but the real fact is that you can't control it. I'm sorry. I have tried to control it so bad, you guys, you have no idea. And that only makes it worse as well. You can't control it. You just have to tell yourself that, okay, it is a panic attack. I'm going to relax. It will get over. I just have to relax and wait until it disappears. And that is also a very hard thing, because most of us with anxiety, we will try to control everything. We will try to control our brain, control our body, control the symptoms. Like me, if I feel my heart is beating fast, I'm always checking the pulse. I did that the first months of my very, very bad generalized anxiety. I was always checking the pulse. And by doing that, I only made it worse. And that was one thing that I did to control everything. But I mean, if I was going to die, it wouldn't help to check my pulse. Like, if it's there or not, I can't control it. I just have to hope that my heart will beat and that I will live a long and happy life. So after you have launched the fire alarm, the triggers will keep building itself up. And since you have time to worry, the anxiety will get worse. Like, if it was a normal anxiety trigger, like I told you about, like a spider, you wouldn't have time to worry because you would get afraid and you will run out of the room most likely. But since there is a fake anxiety trigger, you will have plenty of time to worry because you can't see anything in front of you. You don't know the reason to why you're feeling the way that you feel. And that also makes it worse because you are worrying, you're trying to control it, and you worry more and you're trying to control that again. And it's building it up to this huge thing that can turn out to be a panic attack in the end. So with your brain, which is a very smart thing we have going on up here, you can increase or decrease your anxiety. You just have to use it the right way. And that is the hardest thing for us who suffers from panic attack and anxiety. Try not to control it, try not to worry, but instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die, you should think, this is another panic attack. It will probably last for 20 minutes and then it will disappear. You see the difference there? If you are worrying and stressing about it instead of relaxing and think, I know what it is, it's not dangerous, it won't kill me, everything will be okay. So if you just keep thinking that and keep changing your thoughts into positive thoughts or into more relaxing thoughts, everything will get better and your anxiety will actually decrease. And I tried it out, and it's very, very hard. It takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of will, but it is possible. So just keep hanging in there and keep trying to think positive thoughts instead of worrying, because worrying will make it worse, I promise. The more you try to stop it, the more anxiety you will get. That is the truth. That is how it works. Nobody knows why anxiety just keeps happening for people, but most likely there is something that triggered it in the beginning. And if you don't think about it and don't worry about it and don't try to control it, you will most likely don't have it again. So what I did was the totally opposite. I kept worrying, I kept trying to control it, and I kept thinking about it every single day. And that is why it went from one single panic attack to this huge generalized anxiety, which is anxiety for everything, anxiety every day. And it can be so hard to live with. I wake up, I feel anxious. I go to sleep, I am anxious. Like, that is why I had to go on medication. I decided to do that because I was so anxious. I was shivering and I had problem with remembering things, and it was so bad for me. So if you still are very early in your anxiety period, try to remember these things right here. So the main thing that I am trying to say here is that don't worry, don't control it, don't think negative. Even if it's very hard, you have to accept the anxiety. That is the first step of getting better. You have to accept it. You have to tell yourself that it is okay. Even if it sucks, like it really sucks and it hurts, you have to accept it. And once you're accepting it, this will take you a lot of time. This will take you a lot of will to accept it. Like, in the beginning, I had to lie to myself and tell myself, okay, I'm accepting it. But then 2 minutes later, I was back and I was worrying and trying to control it again. So you have to lie to yourself and tell that everything is going to be okay. There's nothing to worry about. It's just anxiety. It won't kill you. That is the first thing you have to do, and it will make everything so much better once you are believing the words that you tell yourself. But it can be so hard, but just hang in there and just try it. If it doesn't work, try it the next time you get anxiety. Try to speak to yourself as a friend. What would you tell your friend if she was having a panic attack? You wouldn't tell her that she was going to die, this is bad, go to the doctor. You wouldn't do that. You would say things that would comfort her, that would cheer her up, relax her. And that is also what you need to do to yourself, because when you have anxiety, you are your only friend. Like, if you don't have any close person that has had anxiety, they wouldn't probably understand how you feel, and it's hard for them to cheer you up and tell you the right things. So you are your only friend here. You need to be nice and kind to yourself, because it's your body, it's your brain, and these two things has to connect and work together. I also have some tips and tricks on how to decrease your anxiety and also how to stop a panic attack if it happens. And that is, number one, tell yourself that everything is going to be okay. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a panic attack. It won't kill you. Then you have the other part that I was telling you about, to speak to yourself in a positive way. Like, tell yourself things that you would tell to a friend. Tell yourself to relax and tell yourself to not worry. And tell yourself that everything is going to be over in about 20 minutes. If you have the same amount of panic attacks like I do, they usually last for 20 minutes to 2 hours. So after that, I know that it will go away. I will not feel anxious forever. So I'm trying to speak to myself in a way that is relaxing for myself. And you can also listen to relaxing music or watch a video of your favorite actor or anything like that. And there's also a lot of great books out there that you can read that really helps me, because when I read about someone who are struggling with anxiety, or I read like a psychiatry book, I get very relaxed in my body because I read about other people having the same issues as me. And that makes me feel that I'm not alone in this world. And that makes me also feel that it is okay. It's nothing dangerous. It is a totally normal reaction for the fight or flight response that we have in our head. So if we can stop that reaction, if we can stop that cycle of happening and change the thoughts, you will also decrease the symptoms in your body as well. So try to do that. Speak to yourself in a nice way. Think that everything is going to be okay. Listen to music or watch your favorite TV series or anything like that. Or read books. Just do things that makes you happy and things that makes you relaxed. And another great way to decrease your anxiety is to work out, because what happens when you have a panic attack or you have this huge anxiety in your body all the time is that you're building up so much energy. Like you have so much energy in your body that wants to get out. And therefore the brain is releasing adrenaline, and you will feel like you are ready to fight a big bear or something because you have so much energy in your body. So if you work out, you will release that energy into something good instead of having it all inside of your body. So that is also a great thing. And another great thing to do is that you don't necessarily have to work out every day. You can do something that you love. Like I love to make my own clothes. I love to do YouTube videos. I love to play golf. And by doing things that you really, really love, you move your attention away from the anxiety onto the things you actually are doing. So keep yourself busy while having a lot of anxiety. Try not to think about it. Have a schedule, plan out a day. Like I have a planner, so I plan out everything because I need to have everything organized in order for me to not have anxiety attacks. So if you plan out your day and have it filled with plans and you keep a busy life, you will also feel a lot better because you don't have time to worry and you don't have time to think about it. And that will also make everything a lot better for you guys. So as a human being, we are kind of thought, or we are not thought, but at the beginning of our life, we are always thinking bad about ourselves and better about other persons. And when that is said, it all comes to comparing. Like I used to compare myself to everyone and everything. I needed to be best in everything that I did. And if I wasn't the best person, I didn't get the first prize, I was not good enough. I was a bad person. I was not doable to do anything, and I wouldn't have any success in my life. That was things that I thought, because if I wasn't good enough and I wasn't the best person, nothing was worth it. And that is also a thing that you shouldn't do. And because we have been conditioned to talk bad about ourselves instead of others, so I'm not talking about everyone. Not every person is conditioned to talk bad about themselves. You have those who think they are the best person in the life and they think they own the world and they speak so highly about themselves. But for most people, we are conditioned to speak bad about ourselves compared to other persons. So that is also a thing that can trigger your anxiety and also trigger any panic attack, because of how you feel and how you think. How you think is the main reason to how you feel in your body. And how you think is the main reason to why you probably have anxiety today or you don't have it. Like it's all in your head. And that is also a very important thing to recognize, that it's just in your head and you can't change it if you just work on it and you know what to change. Because most of us don't realize how we think. Like I didn't know that I thought so negatively about myself and that I was having no self-worth. I didn't know that until 6 months ago when I started to go to a therapist. And he made me look at myself in a different way, because he told me look, see how you think, see how you look at yourself. This is wrong. You shouldn't look at yourself like that, because this is the body that you are born with. You can't change it. You can't take off your head and place it on a different body. So there's nothing you can do about it. Then accept it, accept the body you are in, and accept that this is who you are. This is the person that you're going to live with forever. So you just have to be nice to it. Your body should be the best thing in the world. You should take care of it, and you should pay a lot of attention to it and love it. So you just have to kind of accept it. If not, the anxiety will continue. So by telling you about this, I'm also telling you about something that is called the high emotional state. And that is the kind of place you are in when you have anxiety or you have panic attacks, or if you're extremely happy one day, you are in this high emotional place. And since our brain is extremely smart, it will remember everything that happens when you are in a high emotional state. So if you have a panic attack at a mall, for instance, your brain will remember that and it will link it up. So the next time you go to a mall, you're most likely to have a new panic attack there, because your brain remembers how you felt when you was in that place, and it links it up to the high emotional state, and it triggers your fight or flight response, and it gives you all these symptoms again, and it all keeps going. So if you have had an anxious moment or a panic attack, it will be linked up. That is the sad part, because now I have panic attacks everywhere, because I have had panic attacks pretty much everywhere. So now every time I go to the mall, I get anxious, I get all these feelings, I feel dizzy, I feel like people are floating around me, I feel drunk, I see my vision gets very bad, and that is because it's linked up to my first time when I had a panic attack at a mall. So to kind of change this up, you need to work on the things that I told you earlier. You need to think in a different way, and you need to keep yourself busy and not worry and not think about the feelings, the symptoms. Just let them be there. For instance, if your heart is beating very fast, just let it beat very fast. Like, try not to focus on it. Try not to put your thoughts and energy on it, because it will not get better by doing that. So your body will remember how you felt when you was in a certain place or a certain area or a certain situation, and it will warn you that you are in a bad place, something bad is going to happen now, and it will trigger the fake anxiety triggers, and it will also give you the symptoms, and it will also increase your anxiety. So therefore, you need to work against that. You need to work against your brain and try to decrease it, try to think in a different way, try to speak to yourself. Your body will warn you that you are in a place where you had anxiety before, so you should probably get out of there. And your body does that only to protect you. So it is actually a very great system if it really works in the way it's supposed to work. But it's not a great system for us with anxiety, because we will get these warnings everywhere. For a normal person, it will work wonders if they are in a place and they feel, okay, this may be a little bit dangerous. They will probably go home or not attend. But for someone like us who gets these in the car, at the mall, at school, at home, in our bed, in our shower, everywhere, it's very hard to think that it's a normal thing. So if I go to sleep and I'm lying in my bed, my body shouldn't warn me that it is dangerous, because it isn't dangerous. I have slept my whole life, so I shouldn't be afraid, but I am, and that is because of the symptoms. Just try to remember these things and try to think about them, and hopefully there's some new information that you haven't heard before, so you can take with you and adding that to your list on how to decrease your anxiety and hopefully feel a lot better as well. There is different food types and different kind of drinks you can avoid to decrease your anxiety as well. Like, I was a huge coffee lover, but then I came across this article and I read about how caffeine works in your body and how it will make an anxious person more anxious. Because caffeine is just like adrenaline. Like, you will get very anxious in your body, you will feel your heartbeat, you will probably get a little bit warm and sweaty in your hands. So you should avoid certain types of food or drinks that give you the symptoms, because we don't want to have all these symptoms. That is the main reason. The symptoms is the main reason to why we have panic attacks. So if we can take away some of the symptoms, the panic and anxiety will go away. And therefore I had to quit drinking coffee. I only drink decaf now. And there's also 2 other things that I had to eliminate from my diet. And number 1 is aspartame. Aspartame is found in all like Diet Coke and in all products that is not containing real sugar, but it is containing a sweetening flavor. And that is also a very dangerous substance, at least for your brain. I used to drink Diet Pepsi for years. I was living and breathing for the Pepsi. And I always try to eat like low calorie things because that was no sugar in it and I would lose weight. But instead I added a lot of aspartame to my brain. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not totally sure what aspartame really does. I just know that it is a substance that stays in your brain. Like, if you eat something with aspartame, you will have it in your brain forever. You won't get rid of it. Your body don't have a system to remove it or get rid of it. So therefore, if you are drinking a lot of Diet Coke or eating a lot of non-sugar milk or non-sugar kind of food, you should just quit that immediately, because that will also give you some symptoms that can turn into panic attack. And the last thing is to eliminate MSG, which is monosodium glutamine. That is also a flavor that is used in food. A lot of Asian food has it. A lot of different kinds of chips like Doritos has it. And that will also give you a lot of symptoms. And if you eliminate these things, you will feel a lot better. I promise. I have done it. I've also decided to go totally organic and gluten-free in my diet as well, because I've read that it is supposed to help with my anxiety. So I'm trying out everything. I'm desperate, like I told you in my vlog, and I feel different. I feel a lot better. I'm not as tired as I used to. I feel a lot healthier on the inside. And there's so much thing. You just need to do your background search and need to figure out what works for you. But the best thing is to quit drinking caffeine. Caffeine is also in tea. So be sure to read carefully on the packaging to be sure that you are not drinking tea with caffeine, because that will also give you that heartbeat symptoms and all that stuff. And quit eating aspartame, or that is even in chewing gums, and also eliminate MSG. I know if you're outside going to eat on a restaurant, you don't know the ingredients in the food you buy. So it can be a little hard and tricky when you eat outside, but at least try to eliminate those 3 things from your diet as most as you can. Like, if you know something is aspartame in, don't buy it. And it can be very hard in the beginnings. It was for me, especially since I was living for my Diet Pepsi. And now I'm rather having ice cream with sugar than non-fat, sugar-free ice cream, because I know that it's a lot healthier for me. Even if sugar isn't healthy either, it's better to eat sugar than to eat aspartame. Try to eliminate those things, and maybe your anxiety will disappear for good if you don't have all these other things that I was talking about. Like, I have become afraid of my anxiety, so therefore my anxiety won't go away that easily. So I also wanted to mention one other thing that really helps me think more positive in the day and think about the small things and appreciate more things in life, is to write a journal. And it can be a totally normal journal. And in that journal, you write 3 good things that happens throughout the day. It can be that you got to have yourself a lovely decaf coffee. It can be anything. But at the end of the day, when you are in bed, you get to think about the day and you get to see some positive things that also happened. Before I did this, I was always thinking, oh, this was a terrible day. Nothing good happened. I was thinking things like that because my anxiety, that one panic attack that I had, destroyed everything, the whole day. But now that I get to think about the day and these small things that happens and think about the good things, it makes the whole day easier and it makes everything better. So buy yourself a journal where you can write everything you want. You can also write from day to day how you felt and how your progress is and stuff like that. But it is proved to help if you write down your thoughts, get them out of your head and onto a piece of paper, or you can record yourself speaking or anything. Just get it out of your head. So I really recommend you to do that as well. That is also a great tip that has helped me. And last but not least, I wanted to mention that there is a lot of good books out there for you guys. So just go to your local bookstore and look at the lifestyle and health section. You will probably find a lot of self-worth books and a lot of books that is supposed to make you happy, feel better, think different. There is so many great books, and especially I recommend The Secret, as I have mentioned before as well. It is an amazing book to read. They also have a project book where you get to work on different assignments, and they also have a film as well. So if you're not huge on books, like I am not huge on reading, but I'm trying to get better, you can watch the film. And I remember the first time that I saw it, I felt so inspired and so motivated after. I was, yes, I can do this. This will work. The only thing that is hard is to continue using the mechanism, because we tend to forget the good things and forget the things that we learn. But you can always go back to this video. So another book that I really, really recommend is a book by David D. Burns. And this is called Think Yourself Happy. This is the Norwegian version, but I know they have an English version as well, since he is a psychiatrist and he is so good. And in this book, he speaks about different kinds of way to think, different things that you should avoid, and also this is great for depression as well and for anxiety. So this is a wonder. So try to look this up at Amazon or stuff. I will leave it down below. But I have a lot of books, you guys, and I'm trying to read them. I'm trying to get through them. But that was all that I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much for sticking to the end if you're still here. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope this video gave yourself some tips and tricks or ideas for both yourself or a friend or a family member. So anyone you think should see this video, please share it to them or share it on social media and stuff. I would really appreciate that, because we need to spread the message and we need to be open-minded and speak openly about these kinds of illnesses. And when that's been said, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to support me, and also hit that subscribe button down below if you still haven't subscribed. I would love to have you join my family. There will be a lot of more real talks video up. And also, if you have any questions or you want to speak to me about anything, don't hesitate by contacting me on my email, linnhovik@gmail.com, or down in the comment section below. I will answer every one of you guys' questions, and I will try to help you as good as I can. And when that's been said, thank you once again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.